I got a confidant out of New York named Douglas. And I run a lot of ideas past Douglas. I talked to him a lot before I come in and talk to you guys. He told me, Chael, you got to stop. You're a crazy person. I was talking to him about Oliveira, the weigh-in, the Justin Gaethje, the match. He said, you sound like a crazy person and nobody cares. He said, Chael, not only does nobody care, Oliveira himself has made it clear that he does not care. You've got to stop. I go, well, no, hold on. I think you're missing my point. My entire point is that there's no point. My entire story is my surprise to the fact that there's no story. Now, I'm not a journalist, guys. Never pretended to be, never wanted to be. Had an opportunity. I went to college. I could have signed up for journalism. They happen to have that at University of Oregon. I just share that with you that we don't have very many journalists in this sport. We got a lot of media, but we do have journalists. We do have people that identify themselves as journalists. We do have people that have contracts with organizations that pay them money, and it says journalism within the contract. Now, you can debate back and forth if they're good journalists. That's a completely separate conversation. I'm just not one of them. I also don't think I'm a member of the media. I would never identify as that. I might meet that qualification. I don't fully know what that definition is. I like more the branding that some have given me. I'm a guy with a YouTube page with 2 followers peddling some window sheen. I'm okay with that. But the Oliveira story has surprised me that it's not a story. Let me explain. I brought to you guys, and I did it right here on YouTube, on Thursday night, 12 hours prior to the weigh-in, I brought you the fact that I did not think Oliveira was going to make weight. Now, I happened to realize on Thursday, and I happen to have some free time on my hands, what happens if that ends up being true? So I went into the statutes and I read all about the Arizona State Athletic Commission. There was nothing within any bylaw anywhere that gave them the authority to strip anybody if they had missed weight. They did have the authority to not adjudicate and sanction a championship match if weight is missed. But that's a completely different conversation. So when Charles gets on and off the scale and he has missed weight, it is then announced that he is no longer the UFC champion. I contested that, and I was right. He was still the champion. Now, I don't want to go back and fight this out because Douglas is correct that nobody, including Charles, cares or has raised any interest in this. I accept all of this fully. But there was nobody within, and that's to this day, the Arizona State Athletic Commission that has spoke up and confirmed that Charles is no longer champion. That's okay too, because what that tells us is, oh, there's a different set of rules. We're looking in the wrong direction. You have the commission's rules, but then you have the organization's rules. Not within the commission's rules, it must be within the organization's. Now, I'll share with you guys, it is, and I will share with you the rule was perfectly followed. But I will also share with you 3 representatives of the UFC spoke up, one of them being Dana White. Dana White had it perfect. He said, we have rules over here. He missed weight. He will not be champion as soon as the first bell goes off. The end, and that is 100% right. But set that aside. Within our journalists and within our media and within this space, nobody has brought that forward. They've been happy to say this was said, but there was 2 other officials within the UFC that spoke up as well. They did not say what Dana said, and they were wrong. To this day, they are wrong. To this day, they have not admitted the statement. I'll go a step further, which is Bruce Buffer. Bruce Buffer gives somebody a hard time for misspeaking. My goodness, you go pick random video of me, you'll find misspeaking. I'm not giving Bruce a hard time. I'm just sharing with you as an example. When Bruce announced Oliveira that night prior to the fight, he announced him as the former UFC champion, which was not true. And don't tell me that we're splitting hairs here and that we're close enough, because 155.5 pounds is splitting hairs and close enough to 155, right? 8 ounces is close enough. Well, no, it's not. Because of those 8 ounces, all of these dominoes go into effect, but it also makes it very clear that we are not splitting hairs and we are not playing games. We are going exactly by the rules. And when Bruce made that announcement, Bruce had that wrong. Now, if you think about it from Bruce's perspective, he's in a small room. He's not out there with the fans. He's not out there with the media. He's not at the same hotels and riding in the same vans. He's in a very tight inner circle. Bruce's note card obviously would have said, undisputed lightweight champion of the world. Bruce had to go back and amend that card. For Bruce to amend that card and be given the information that he should amend that note card prior to the announcement, he would have turned to somebody and said, what's going on here? And that somebody would have told him he's been stripped. That somebody was wrong. This is not a big deal, by the way. We get it wrong all the time. New things come up and we all live and we learn. What I find interesting is I don't think we have. I don't think if you grab those representatives from the UFC that did speak about this, and by the way, spoke wrong, I don't think if you grabbed Bruce Buffer right now, that anybody could tell you the clarification within the rule, which is very simple. If you miss weight, you will be stripped when the bell goes off. Period. You may like that rule. You may understand it. You might not like that. Don't even bring that up. That's a different conversation. I'm not sure that you could get those people forward to tell you. I'm not sure that the media who hasn't reported on this, I'm not sure that the journalists within our sport who have never posted this bylaw anywhere, not on social media, not on anything, even know to this day. I'm not sure that they do. I think that's interesting. All of the media and all of the journalists I reference have at some point in their career, multiple times, but at some point in their career, to make this a simple statement, come out and attempted to compare us to other sports. If this was a Stanley Cup, if this was a pennant, if this was a Super Bowl, and somebody was stripped, this would be breaking news and this would be lead news on every sports program in America for a week. Not even a maybe. You'd have statements from the commissioner's office. The commissioner himself would not step forward. He would not speak about it, but he would have said it through a spokesman. And they'd have the quote up and they'd read the rule. Then you'd have somebody else come in and go, well, I don't interpret that rule the same way. You'd have had a back and forth. We had nothing. That's okay. I know that we're not like other sports. I fully understand that. But to have this much time go by, to have multiple statements made, only one of which was right, to have no amending to it, and I go a little bit further. I will hypothesize for you that people involved, if you brought them forward now, still don't know. I think when one of you tells Bruce that Chael was giving him a hard time, which I'm absolutely not, Bruce is going to think Chael's wrong. Bruce is going to, what are you talking about? I said he was the former champion. He was the former champion. I don't think he knows now. And I think that is the story. I think that is what is interesting. Douglas told me I'm a fool. Told me not to say it. Told me I would sound like a crazy person. Do I? Or am I making perfect sense?